Alright, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, of course. Hey, a BRZ, look at the BRZ. And today is the first like full driving video, POV driving video of the 350Z. I'm not gonna get on it today because, well, I'll talk about that in a little bit. But one thing, I haven't driven it in probably like 6 months now. It's been a really long time since I've even driven this car. And so I'm really just gonna go over the car, how it sits right now with you guys, and all my future plans for the car in today's video. And of course, we're going to drive. Right now though, I wanna start off the video by saying that it's actually idling better than it ever has before. It's sitting right at the 750 RPM mark, which is where the 350Zs are supposed to idle at. And it feels like scarily good. Like it's never been this good before, and that scares me. Obviously I've always had an exhaust leak, and so maybe that's why, but I don't know. But it's weird. I just wanted to start it off with that it's idling nicely, and it's kind of interesting. Now, I am going to have to keep the windows up for this video, because if I don't, then you guys will just hear the wind speed and everything like that. Also, you guys can see yourselves on the camera right there. You see that? But yeah, I'm gonna have to keep the windows up because of the cam speed, so it might be hot AF, but that's okay, doing it for the YouTubes. But right off the bat, I do want to start off by saying that there's a major problem with this car, and it's the first thing that I want to buy again, and that would be the coilovers. If you guys don't know, I have max speeding rod coilovers for this car, and max speeding rods, they sent them out to me as a sponsorship, and I really appreciate them for that. It got me looking good for the summer, last summer. But now throughout the winter, the coilovers have kind of seized. And now I was talking to a couple people, and that does tend to happen, not seize, but they do tend to like need to like readjust themselves if they have been sitting for so long. And so I'm not too worried about it. I'm gonna drive it all day today and see how it is at the end of the day. Maybe it'll let itself seat in again. But either way, these coilovers are kind of maxed out in the rear, and I want to go even. This is gonna be scraping. Oh, but I do want to go even lower in the rear. And so that's the first thing I kind of want to buy, is another set of coilovers. Now, obviously, the ones that everybody likes are BC Racing coilovers, and I do want BC Racing coilovers. The only problem is they're like $1,000, and I just can't see myself to buy those. So I was looking at other things like ISRs. Those are pretty cheaper. KW makes some good coilovers. Fortune 500. But I don't know. I'll have to think about it, give it some thought, and we'll go from there. But I'm definitely going to get a different set of coilovers so I can really have a comfortable ride. They can last me longer, and I can go to the actual ride height that I want. So that's going to be the first thing. The second thing is something that we're actually going to be doing today, and that is we are going to be putting the duckbill, finally actually putting it on. We were going to try and put it on with 3M tape, but then we realized that you really can't with the fabric that it's made out of. The material that it's made out of is very rough, and the 3M tape just does not want to stick to that material. And so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to put 3M tape on there. We cleaned it off so much last night, and still nothing ever even happened. And so that kind of sucks. So we're going to have to buy a, we're not going to have to buy, we're going to have to rivet it in, and that's what we're doing tonight. We're going to rivet in the duckbill tonight. I will film that, but that'll be in a different video. I'm actually super excited. It looks really good. We lined it up last night, and we got all the dimensions and everything correctly, and it looks really good. I'm excited to get it on there. But yeah, we need to do that. After those two things are taken care of, I still do need to fix a couple of things. One of them being that guy up there just passed that truck just to get stuck behind another truck of the same thing and a school bus. I don't know what he was thinking, but whatever. Anyway, after the coilovers and the duckbill, I still do need to get fixed the O2 sensor, because right now it's being held together with electrical tape, and I don't like that. And so we need to fix that. And then the next actual mod would probably be either side skirts or a rear diffuser. I really want to get a rear diffuser. I think they look sick, and the side skirts are kind of, I've been kind of like bouncing back and forth on what set of side skirts I want to go with, but I think I found the ones, so hopefully we'll get those. And we'll go from there. I want to get all these like body parts done, all these like other body parts done before I wrap the car or paint the car, depending on which one I go for, because I don't want to like buy a bunch of wrap and wrap the car just to have to wrap it again when I buy something else. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I don't have to wrap the whole car again, obviously, but I'd have to wrap that part, and it's just like, might as well just do it all in one go. And so that's kind of what I've been waiting for, so I'm gonna buy the side skirts and get that. The next thing would be headlights. These headlights on this car are still incredibly dim and just fogged up and terrible. And unfortunately, I would restore them if I could, but you can't. They drilled a hole in them to get water out of them one time, and so now every time it rains, it gets up in there, and it's just gonna get messy again really fast. So I'm gonna have to buy a new set. But that should be fine anyway, because I don't really like the design they went with, and they wired it terribly, so I get to rewire the headlights. I'm just gonna go probably with 350Z HR headlights, most likely. I like those the best, to be honest. So I'll probably go with those, and I'll get the little eyelids that everybody does. And then it's like the bigger things, you know, that's all like outside stuff. After that, it's gonna become like actual like stuff that I'm gonna have to really care about. It's like stuff like the interior stuff, like steering wheels and seats and roll cage and harnesses. Obviously like platform stuff, so suspension, all the, you know, camber arms and ankle kits and poop shoot machines and diarrheaville weapons, and I want to put a minigun on the top of it, but I don't know how legal that is. There's a lot of things I want to do. It's gonna be iffy. Then it's another really big one that I literally always go back and forth on if I want to do it or not, and I never can make up my mind, and it is a wide body kit. I don't know if I want to do a wide body kit. I have no idea at all. Every time I see a wide body 350Z, I'll be like, oh, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna wide body it now. And then I'll see like a stock body 350Z, and I'm like, oh, that looks sick. I'm gonna keep a stock body. And I can't decide. I cannot decide. It's gonna take forever for me to actually pull the plug. I wish I had two 350Zs so I could keep one stock body and then one wide body, but I don't, and so I got to figure out what I want to do with this one. And it's just so hard, man. It's so hard to choose between those things, because if you do a wide body, you can't go back, right? It's like you cut into the quarter panels, you are not going to be able to put that back on unless you like weld it all together, and that's just a process that you don't want to go through, and it's going to be terrible. So if you wide body it, you're wide bodying it, you know what I mean? You're wide bodying it for life. And that really does kind of put a damper on it, because you don't know what you want to do. You don't know if you want to keep it keep a stock body or wide body it. So I still have to decide on that. And then obviously I do want to change the color on something, but I will not tell you guys what color I want to do yet. I do have it in mind, and I've kind of chosen it already. I've kind of like secured it. But like I said, I don't want to tell you guys. I don't want to spoil the surprise. So we'll keep that. In wraps. This guy's tailgating me, but I don't care, because I'm in my 350Z. You could freaking be literally giving me a bump draft to the next location, and I still wouldn't care, because I'm in the Z that doesn't have horns. After all that stuff, I mean, that's pretty much gonna be it. I say that's gonna be it, but that's a lot of stuff. Chassis mount wing is something that I've been looking at for a long time, but then every time I look at it, I'm like, I can't bring myself to do it. And then the chassis mount wing's another one that's kind of like the wide body kit. It's like I can't tell if I want to do it or not. Every time I see it done correctly, I'm like, oh, that's sick. Then every time I see it done poorly, I'm like, that looks terrible. It's just like, I don't know, but we'll go from there for that. Now the actual driving experience of the car, since I got it back, things that I've noticed. First thing is that the exhaust leak that we fixed is like 10 times better. It sounds way better. It does not sound like a swarm of bees is coming to attack you and you're just like standing there waiting for it with no bug spray on or anything like that. It doesn't sound like that anymore, which is good. It doesn't sound great. It still has a little bit of a leak, you can tell, but it's not nearly as bad as it was before, where it was like a Grand Canyon of a leak between the friggin' headers and downpipes. And so I'm very happy about that. I'm extremely happy about that. Driving it does like to pull itself to the right a tiny bit. Right now, of course, it's not going to do it, but it does like to pull itself to the, yeah, so you can see it doing it. It's pulling itself to the right. So that might just be because like one of the tires up front is flat, but when I look at them, they look fine. So I might just, not flat, but you know what I mean, like a little deflated. And so I'm gonna have to just check them. I'm gonna check them today. I'm going up to my work anyway, so I'm gonna just fill them up with air up there. So hopefully that's just the issue. Nothing's like broken up there. That'd be ideal. Obviously, like I said before, the coilovers have been shot throughout sitting in the winter. It just really, the ride quality now is terrible. I mean, ride quality on coilovers is obviously always going to be a little bit worse than stock, and especially since I have stretched tires on it, it's not gonna ride perfectly. But it's a little bit worse than before. I can hear all these noises that I'm not a big fan of, and it, like if I go over a bump, it's like boom 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 boom. It's a really big clunk, so that's why I really want those coilovers. that would fix all these ride quality issues for sure. Actually driving the car, like engine wise, it's fine. It does like to like cut out sometimes, but it's always kind of done that. It's never been like perfectly smooth. And I think that just has to do with always having busted O2 sensors and the exhaust leak, and also stretched tires when traction control is on. It's probably like cutting it because it doesn't think it's got traction. So stuff like that is probably the reason why it doesn't like always want to perform perfectly. But for the most part, it does perform nicely. It does, you know, drive how it should. The engine, as far as I can tell, the engine life is good. It's a healthy engine. I'm happy with it. I do gotta change the oil soon though. I gotta remember that. I gotta change the oil. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything else is as same as it was before. Nothing really changed on it. We did kind of adjust the ride height throughout the winter, and so it definitely is a little bit lower. I scrape on a lot more things now, but it's not like undrivably low, so I'm kind of happy with it, to be honest. I do want to go a little bit lower in the back still, like maybe like a half an inch lower in the back, but for the front, I'm pretty happy with where it sits. That's gonna be it, guys. I mean, that's all I have to talk about with the car. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, of course, be sure to like, comment another video that you'd like to see down below, and subscribe to the channel for more content on the 350Z. Finally, the 350Z is back. I am so happy. I'm sure some of you guys are happy too. Sorry to keep you guys waiting for so long on this car, but it's finally here. I'm super happy to be driving this thing, and I can't wait to make new content on it. So give me content ideas in the comments below for sure. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.